This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network.
Welcome to The Anxious Voyage. If you think that title sounds bleak or foreboding, one of two things must be true. You're very lucky, or you need to get out more. On this program, we share stories of life and living. We compare notes. We discover commonalities. We accept that life is a glorious, heartbreaking thing, and we embrace and celebrate all of it. Take the ride with us. We're glad you're here. Now, here's your host, Mark O'Brien.
Hello and welcome indeed. We are coming to you again, and as always, from World Headquarters in Middletown, Connecticut. I am so excited to welcome my guest today. Actually, I have to say welcome her back, because Lonnie was on my very second show in August of 2023. So first, if I may, let me just give her a proper introduction. Lonnie's a ghostwriter, a story development coach and editor, a book producer, and an inspiration to countless aspiring writers. She's developed a series of anthologies that include 11th Hour Miracles, Amazing Short Stories of Divine Intervention, The Advocates, The Healers, and Heeding a Higher Calling, Rattled Awake, which is, if I haven't lost count, now in 12 volumes. My fur baby wrote this book, Bullied, How I Got By, and Speechless, Giving the Voiceless a Voice. Decades of depression and periods of homelessness lit the fire in Lonnie that she now shines and shares with the hundreds of authors she continues to work with. And she's the winner of a 2023 Best Indie Book Award, which recognizes outstanding achievements by independent authors. Lonnie, welcome back.
Thank you, Mark. I'm glad I could make it. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I don't know if you remember this, but at the end of the show you were on first, at the end of it, I asked you not to do anything because I'm not as fast as I used to be. And I was afraid I just couldn't keep up with you. So how in the world do you do everything you do?
One-handed too, right? Seriously.
Wow. If I understand this correctly, 11th Hour Miracles is your most recent anthology?
It's coming up.
Okay, so it's not yet published.
No, I'm looking for people that have had divine intervention story. It doesn't necessarily have to be that dire, oh God, I'm 11th hour, but certainly things happen to us through God, grace, and good people. And our world needs hope and hopefulness, and these stories I know are going to bring that to the forefront.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't recognize that it hadn't been published yet.
Yeah.
Are you
the idea?
are you having success in finding contributors?
I have all kinds of people that want to do it for free. They don't realize that this is my business as a story development coach and publisher, all the work that goes into this.
Yep.
And so, sure, I have lots of people saying, oh, I have a story. But what I'm looking for are people that really want to invest in themselves and recognize the value of becoming co-author of a best-selling book, because it's happened 16 other times. And also the instant authority, credibility, and expertise. But is on top of all of that, it's the training that I offer. I love doing the workshops, Mark. I love the collaborative nature of everyone participating, but also being able to, in a boutique setting, to be able to share all this experience that I've had in the world of writing and publishing and really in interviewing, Mark. That's really what this is. After hosting 9 shows, this is why story development is such an innate and easy thing to do.
I'm going to correct you. I'm going to say it's an innate and easy thing for you to do. I don't think everybody's necessarily good at that, but I also want to pick up on the point you made about investing in ourselves.
Yeah.
So I want to say that, first of all, I want to tell everybody that I contributed to one of your anthologies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still position these the same way, but Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something like 3 days from idea to ISBN.
I turn them around that fast. Yeah.
Okay, so what I would like to share is that my experience working with you, and I will also say it wasn't by a long shot the first time I had published anything, but we began with the group of authors who was participating on a Friday, early Friday evening, I'll say.
Yeah, the get to know you part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had sessions on Saturday and Sunday when I'm going to say the get to know you part became even more important. Um, and I want to say in my own experience, it helped me because I got the sense, and I'll put it this way, I felt like I got a better idea of whom I was writing for. And I think I wrote for the group of people that I met because of you.
Wow. Wow.
No, I think that's true.
Wow. That is amazing to hear. That is fantastic feedback. It is really because I mean, people are like, "Oh, writer's workshop." Like, no, there's so much more.
No. You know what?
You
I didn't
summed it
think
up
about it
well.
before you said that, but because writer's workshop is such a common expression, it doesn't feel to me, having participated, that it does what you do justice.
What should I call it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I knew you were going to ask me that, so I have to go now.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so nice to see you. Okay. A lot of the writers have said this isn't just a writer's workshop, it's transformational. So you might want to throw the word transformational writing workshop in there.
Yeah,
Like,
and the other
okay.
word that comes to mind as I'm noodling this now, because you're making me, is
Do it.
collective. There's something about the collective
Yes.
that contributes to
Yes.
the product.
Yes. It very much does.
Yeah.
I, I,
So
I appreciate that. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
I don't understand. And this is the thing, Mark. As I like to say, you need to have an angle if you want to have an edge. And it's just true, right? It's like
Yep.
literal. Okay, word nerd. But what I don't know how to get this out there enough, like to enough people to hear that collective as well as the training is why these stories are centered right in on who you want to talk to, because I help with messaging. They are they have the impact. I say they carry the impact of a whole book, and you're not putting your life into a chapter, you're taking a chapter out of your life. So it needs to be very focused and in a way that the readers can find it compelling storytelling, all of those things. And I'm trying to get that across because so many of these multi-author book coordinators, they're like, yeah, drop it off, we'll edit. Yeah. And I'm just like, you don't even know the people you're in the book with. There's no bonding. There's nothing. I mean, we don't do kumbaya or anything, but it matters because we're doing a book blitz. A collective experience continues once the book is published. And I want them all to network and make more out of this. And secondly, not everybody is a good writer or they'd be writing, they need some help. And the last thing you want is, oh, that chapter in there. Oh, that cringe chapter. Oh God. And that happens. And so, I just, to paint the big picture for people, it's not just that we all really support each other. And what a great workshop we had. We had, it was volume 6, the podcasters edition.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. But I always make sure, and it's not a but, it's not to take away from it. But I do this thing ahead of time that you didn't experience. But everybody goes through an hour phone call with me before they get to that workshop. And yeah. And in that call, I'm listening and developing the message, the angle, the all the stuff. It's all working in here. By the time everybody gets to Friday with our meet and greet, our paper cup happy hour, I know that this is going to work. And so my familiarity with each person, I think that really opens the doors and the hearts almost like immediately. And on Saturday, it's just like, let's do this. And it's wonderful.
The other word that I now want to add to collective is energy, because there was absolutely something about that collective energy. And I also want to respond to your using the word kumbaya, because especially on Saturday, not everybody was in absolute agreement on everything, and that turned out to be enormously beneficial, because there's just, I'll put it this way: I don't think there can be meaningful creativity without tension. There has to be some kind of tension, and it didn't occur to me before right now that you probably knew that was coming, and to a greater extent than I realized, you probably managed that. But the tension, I think, was crucial to what we all came away with, and to what we were all able to write as a result.
So if someone's never done anything like this, can you better or different way describe tension for creativity?
Yeah, I'm going to have to completely personalize it. Sometimes I don't know what I really think or what I really want to think until what I thought is challenged. And then I think, whoa, hold on. Yeah, I could see this in a different way. Or if I see this in a different way, then this other thing is possible. That was my experience.
Yes.
So now I have to ask you, because you have that mischievous smile on your face, what does it feel like to know that's going to happen?
I have a faith in the unseen with a vision on the end already. And so when it shows up,
love that.
When it shows up, I just trust it. It will knot or unknot and reweave, and it will work out. It always has. That's kind of the message I carry in my being.
So this has taken me off, I think, on a little bit of a tangent, but
okay.
I think I've finally come to accept that everything that's supposed to happen does, and that the keys are patience and acceptance. So my question is, given what you just said, do you think we worry too much? I mean, do you think that because of the fact that we let our worrying preoccupy us, we kind of lose sight of the fact that everything is more or less going as it should?
Well, I really have a problem with the word should. I think it's just going. I think I do. I think it's just going. Things are just going, and I choose not to put the shoulds or meant to be's on it. At the same time, when I had that birth chart reading when I was in my 30s, and they cited how my parents were divorced when I was 3, and all 3 of us were on my birth chart, and their reality and their divorce and me being 3. Yeah, none of that made any sense, but it rocked my world. And I said, is it all already done?
I don't know if you just proved your point or mine.
I'm getting there.
But you just made me think completely differently about should.
Yeah.
Wow.
I appreciate that you are such an open mind on these things.
I'm not sure how else to learn, but so
see, I really have a problem with the word should, because when I look at the, like, having dove into rabbit holes since 2020 or sooner, and I see what's really going on, there's no way that it's all happening how it should. No, it's not. What's happening is what's happening. Acceptance is the key to peace. It's one of my one-liners, but that doesn't mean tolerance. for what's being, destroyed or people being hurt. So, not to get too sad or bad on this, but
No. I completely accept that, and I think it's sometime next week. I don't know, but I've written something for my Substack account, and I think I've mentioned this idea on the show before, but it's about expectations. And I called the piece, I thought bananas were purple. Because
I love your titles.
to your point, if I think bananas should be purple, I'm in for a world of hurt.
It'll also make you blind because you won't see yellow bananas.
Oh. Okay, I think that goes to your point about open-mindedness.
Yeah.
And I utterly agree. If we are so expectant that we blind ourselves to what's really going on, that's a trap. It's just
100%. Our beliefs make us blind. And we take action on those. And I use the example often, Mark. I say, if you send Honey to the store to get ketchup and forget to tell Honey that the ketchup, they changed it to a blue bottle. Honey's not going to see the ketchup. Okay. She's going to miss it because we're looking for a red ketchup bottle.
I won't belabor this, but a few years ago, I hope I won't get sued for saying this, but a few years ago, Tropicana decided to completely redo their brand and their packaging. Nothing moved off the shelves, so they put it all back the way it was. Yeah, you're exactly right.
It's all about marketing, but don't change.
I would like, if you don't mind, I would like you to just talk a little bit about what 11th hour miracles will be, and I will tell you that for whatever this is worth, I don't consider myself to be terribly religious, but I think I'm a fairly spiritual person. But I've noticed I only pray when I'm grateful.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It doesn't occur to me to pray if I think I need something or I might be in trouble, but I always pray when I'm grateful. Does that play in there?
Absolutely plays in there. And I just to right off the top, I am not religious either. And I was surprised. I was going to bed at night because I was what's the next title? What is it? And what's the next topic? And on the third day, I woke up with 11th hour miracles, just completely different from the angle I was originally going with, which was about late bloomers. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And it was only in researching to see if there were other titles like that I learned that was biblical. I did not know. I am not a biblical Bible read. I'm not, but I'm super spiritual. And I know that there's something else or I wouldn't be here. Okay. Something else is figuring out the path and we're just walking. Where? Okay. Go left. Okay.
Well, I agree with that. So what was the biblical reference?
I don't even know, Mark. I just know that I gloss right over that stuff. I do. I am not that. I can't tell you. I don't know. I just realized, and what's funny? Normally I would not choose a title that's taken. And there's a number of books on Amazon called 11th Hour Miracle. Excuse me, or Miracles, whatever. I know the tagline differentiates it. Something told me, and I'm listening. I'm a good doobie. Do it anyway. Just do it. So, okay, I'm going to do something called 11th Hour Miracles, amazing short stories of divine intervention. And I say divine intervention because there's, we can't explain how some of these things happen. I did a story with a book with a client. She was supposed to have the second hole in her heart closed up. It was an anomaly. She didn't know if she'd live. And she woke up from the operation and the doctor and her husband are arguing. She said, am I okay? Am I okay? And her husband said, honey, they're upset. What happened? You don't have a second hole in your heart. It's gone. They never had to fix it. And she was a praying woman. Okay, look at your face. Like for real, that. is what I'm talking about.
Whew, part of what I'm thinking is,
Wow.
did she have to be opened up before they discovered there was nothing to fix?
I don't think so. I don't know that detail. That's a great question. But I can tell you they never did. They never had to do the repair. That much I know.
You know, there are stories that are quite common about people who are diagnosed with, you know, late stage cancer, and then before you know it, it's gone.
Yes.
I know a gentleman. He's been on the program. I'll never remember the name of the condition he had, but believe it or not, it was some skin condition that had life-threatening implications. And he was in the hospital. I can't remember how many weeks he was in the hospital, and he literally was not expected to make it, but he did. And I know he's a person of really, really deep faith. Now he refers to himself as a designated survivor because he does not believe he was allowed to survive for no reason. And so he believes he has a purpose. I think that's a beautiful and brilliant thing.
I have a story about that. I shouldn't be here at all. And, you know, I guess we could talk about that if you want, but it certainly defies logic.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll take our first commercial break right now, and then we'll come back, and I would love for you to share that story.
Thank you.
And I would love for you to share the 2 books that I know you have sitting right in front of you.
You know I do.
All right, so please do stay with us. We will be back in 3 minutes.
Everybody has a story. Everyone's story deserves to be told, and the only bad stories are the ones we don't share. That's why Mark O'Brien created The Anxious Voyage. It's Mark's conviction that every story deserves to be shared, and his purpose is to give people in all walks of life from any circumstances a chance to tell their stories. The Anxious Voyage is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Monday at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with live broadcast every first and third Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Please tune in, please join Mark, and please share your stories.
Ever wonder what it's like to have your own radio show? Well, wonder no longer, because you can dip into the radio airwaves by being host for the day on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. It's a fabulous way to get your radio feet wet. It's an opportunity to market your business, modality, or book. Have a guest, mention a sponsor, and take callers. Or you may want to facilitate a lesson by going solo. It's up to you. Listeners can be online, mobile, in cars with Bluetooth, or listen through Amazon's Echo by asking, Alexa, play Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. For more details, go to dreamvision7radio.com and click on Host for the Day.
You can't establish your brand's authority without a voice. That's why, since 2004, O'Brien Communications Group, OCG, has been helping companies establish their authority, find their brand's distinct voices, and position their brands effectively and persuasively. So effectively that 9 of OCG's clients have been acquired by other companies. OCG's business model emphasizes efficiency and results, not hourly billing, markups, and media commissions. That ensures OCG's advice is unbiased and its clients aren't at financial risk. If you're ready to find your voice and use it to tell your story, OCG is ready to help. You can find O'Brien Communications Group on the web at o'briencg.com. That's OBRIENCG.com, or call 860-944-9022.
Calling all authors. Have you been considering an audiobook? Well, look no further. Come take advantage of Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's unique in-house audiobook production, which includes benefits and bonuses from our radio station. Let our knowledgeable staff guide you to create the audiobook you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank. Check out our full one-stop service from A to Z, including the ACX process. Schedule a free consultation by calling 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or go to dreamvision7radio.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Hello, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us, Lonnie. Thank you for staying with us too. I know
wild horses couldn't get me away. Come on.
Well, thank you. I very much want to hear your story about how you shouldn't be here. But first, would you please share the two books that I know you have sitting right in front of you with new covers?
Yes.
And they are How to Deal with the Dumbass.
What to do and say when they come your way. 5 red flags. Show you how to recognize trouble before it becomes your problem. And life lessons learned from a lousy mother. And I'm not a mother. Okay.
And just to prove, not that Lonnie needs me to vouch for her in any way, but to prove the fact that those are indeed new covers.
That's true.
Here's book number 1 with its old cover, and here's book number 2 with its old cover.
Yes.
So they are indeed new covers. So if you are so inclined, please share with us how you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. So it was right before, I never imagined doing the work that I do. And I was confounded, desperate. I thought somehow, some way, someday I'm going to be able to get a book done. And the opportunity came along, and it was with somebody that we talked about doing pop-up talks and traveling the country. And this was probably in 2018 when we all still had hope for a normal life. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about it. But unfortunately it went to hell in a handbasket. And I ended up being ostracized, bullied so badly that and the book was so bad. I bought 100 copies. It was sight unseen. It was an anthology. It was awful. It was Q&A. They didn't format it like they said. They buried all the testimonials in the back in a run-on sentence. My friend said, your picture's on the cover, but it opened and it's Wanda's book. It was embarrassing. The only person who saw the 100 copies I bought was the trash man. It was an absolute and utter epic, expensive failure. And I'd had enough. I'd had enough of almost made it. Doggone it, kid. And that has to do with so many different things that I've tried in my life. I have not lived a conventional life. So granted, there is no there. I was always exploring, always checking things out. Well, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. It got the best of me one night, and I was uncontrollable in my sobbing and despair. And like, is it always going to be like this? It's always, struggle. Just, did I do something in a past life? I've since revised the idea of karma. I think I'll save it. Another topic. But I, at the time, said, I guess that's just my destiny. And it's just going to be more suffering. And that just made me wail even harder. So I was personally going down hard. And this was a buildup after the abuses I took. I was blocked out of our Facebook group. I was attacked by the collaborators. I was the only one who said the book's wrong. The book's wrong. That's not what we paid for. It's wrong. Nobody else would say anything. That's partly why I wrote the dumbass book, because I'm tired of people not being willing to be stand-up guys. That's what that book is for. So anyway, long and short of it is that night I heard a voice that said, just quit. It's never going to get any better. Just quit. Just quit. And I walked over to the cupboard and I saw a bunch, the sleeping pills. And I said, no. And I went back to the couch and I was sobbing some more. And it was just like, it's never going to get any better. This is what your life is. And I've had a near-death experience in the ocean as a kid. So I know that dying is peaceful. It's living that's challenging or hard. So I wasn't scared. I know that suicide is it does something different to the soul's experience. I know that because my mother was a medium, not a large. Anyway, just to break it up a little bit.
Fine.
But anyway, so I wasn't afraid. I was just forlorn, if that's the word. I was absolutely, I'm done. I'm just done. And I went back to the cupboard and I just started pouring sleeping pills into my hand. And I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to keep taking them. And I don't know, 30 more. I don't know. I lost count. I didn't care. And I wrote a note to the maintenance man. I'm sorry you have to find me like this. And I took the trash out and I put my car keys on the note. And I had a song that I've chosen that I want at a funeral, if there ever is one. So I had that on repeat, and it's a beautiful song, Sarah McLachlan and Tiesto. And it's a beautiful, it's called Sunrise. If you ever want to look it up, it's give me peace, give me relief. That was all I wanted. As I got my little JBL speaker in my hand. I'm hitting walls, trying to get to bed. And another little voice, completely different, says quietly, urgently, oh, you quit too soon. You quit too soon. Oh, you quit too soon. Too soon. And I was mad. And I'm like, according to who? According to what? Why can't I see the manual? I thought we got to choose. You quit too soon. I'm always willing to be wrong, Mark. So I said, fine. On the outside chance I'm wrong, and there's still more for me to do. I made an impossible challenge. Impossible. And I knew it. I said, if there's still more for me to do, then wake me up in the morning.
Wow.
And I said, angels, wake me up in the morning. And I threw in, very uncommon, I said, Jesus, take the wheel. And I went to bed to die. And that night, I had a dream. And not only did I wake up talking, I sat up because I thought my best girlfriend was in my room. And she wasn't there. I realized it was a dream, but I took a breath to try to talk to her. And I fell back out. It's a lot of sleeping pills, you know. I had the same dream again, and I sat up to talk to her. And she wasn't there. And I fell back out. It happened 3 times that night. The exact same dream where I sat up to talk and fell out. And if I was going to make it, I should have slept for days. If I was going to make it, if I didn't throw up in my sleep and die from all those pills, right? Here's what happened. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I woke up again, sat up. I was fine. I put my feet on the floor and I said, fine, I guess there's more for me to do. Damn it. I wasn't sick. I wasn't groggy. I wasn't hungover. It's like it never happened. Never happened. And I said, fine, I guess there's more for me to do. And then COVID happened. I'm like, great, you saved me for this shit. Great.
In the introduction to the beginning of this show, which I put on the web, the radio station's webpage for the show, I used the word light. And I want to know if that experience taught you anything about light, and I will tell you that I asked the question because I don't know that I was ever in as dark a place as you were, but I have experienced severe depression. And one of the things that it taught me was the only thing that can possibly follow that darkness is light. Did that occur to you? Did you think about it that way?
No.
But look what you're doing now. I mean, your energy, it feels and seems like light to me, and to the people you work with. And I guess it doesn't matter what we call it, really.
I wasn't thinking about it back then. I can tell you that much. I was just exhausted from trying and feeling like a failure. That's partly why I'm so passionate about the whole late bloomers concept. Because, you know, there I am in my late 50s. Somebody recognizes some talent in me as an editor, is mostly because he hated editing. And I was like, I'll do it. You know, I can cite copy upside down 50 yards away. And it just, you see it, you know, so I could edit. And then that helped so much in recognizing and waking up in me a talent, but I didn't want to be an editor proofreader for a living forever. And then when I had the accident, which I broke my wrist, and I can't type 65 words a minute. What am I going to do? This developed into the anthologies and the story development coaching and the workshops and author advocacy. And so, you know, like if it was already on the blueprint, I would like to have known. Because that, you know, but maybe that I would. I'm not one person when people are like, would you want to know when it's time to go? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to know when. I would absolutely be fine with that. I don't want it to be a mystery. I don't care. I can't wait to escape the Matrix. Okay, I'll just leave it there. And that is not a death wish. That is, I can't wait to get out of the Matrix. Conversation for another day.
Okay, and I'm not taking it as a death wish, and I don't know if there is or is not some manner or degree of control in that, for whatever this is worth. I certainly don't know, and I'm not sure I want to know. Actually, I think I almost fear I'd be less inclined to keep trying and learning if I knew, because I might be thinking.
I can appreciate that, but I think if you knew TikTok, look at the clock, hon, let's run. You'd be like, I got stuff to do.
Well, I have to tell you that I feel like that anyway.
I love that.
And I've actually had people say to me, do you really believe that you have to try to do everything you think of? And my response to that is, well, if I could think of it, what else would I do with it? I'm not just going to say, I don't think so. You got to give it a shot. I would like to take our second commercial break right now. And when we come back, I would actually like to begin the third segment with what you said about editing, because I have something here to share with you.
Okay.
And I would love to know your thoughts on it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Let's do our commercial break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Please stick with us.
Are you ready for the quantum age?
Humanity's next step in evolution?
Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you to the extraordinary platform of evolutionary voices for the quantum age.
Let's explore. Learn more about this upcoming age where we bridge science with spirituality.
Where potentiality meets reality.
Where we take compassion into action.
Our trailblazers and visionaries will ask the whys, the what ifs, while igniting continuous possibility.
Come along with with us into an age beyond what we know today, where we can grow together in unity consciousness.
Experience evolutionary voices for the quantum age, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern on DreamVision7Radio.com.
You can't establish your brand's authority without a voice. That's why, since 2004, O'Brien Communications Group, OCG, has been helping companies establish their authority, find their brand's distinct voices, and position their brands effectively and persuasively. So effectively that 9 of OCG's clients have been acquired by other companies. OCG's business model emphasizes efficiency and results, not hourly billing, markups, and media commissions. That ensures OCG's advice is unbiased and its clients aren't at financial risk. If you're ready to find your voice and use it to tell your story, OCG is ready to help. You can find O'Brien Communications Group on the web at o'briencg.com. That's OBRIENCG.com or call 860-944-9022.
Calling all authors. Have you been considering an audiobook? Well, look no further. Come take advantage of Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's unique in-house audiobook production, which includes benefits and bonuses from our radio station. Let our knowledgeable staff guide you to create the audiobook you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank. Check out our full one-stop service from A to Z, including the ACX process. Schedule a free consultation by calling 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or go to DreamVision7Radio.com.
Everybody has a story. Everyone's story deserves to be told, and the only bad stories are the ones we don't share. That's why Mark O'Brien created The Anxious Voyage. It's Mark's conviction that every story deserves to be shared, and his purpose is to give people in all walks of life from any circumstances a chance to tell their stories. The Anxious Voyage is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Monday at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with live broadcast every first and third Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Please tune in, please join Mark, and please share your stories.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Lonnie, again, and as always, thank you for being my guest. I promised at the end of the last segment that we would pick up on your notion of editing in this one, and I wanted to share something with you. It's from a novel called The Professional by W.C. Hines. Believe it or not, and this is a book about a boxer. W.C. Hines is the gentleman who also wrote the novel MASH, which obviously became a movie and a TV show. But believe this or not, I was sitting in the waiting room in a doctor's office one day, and I read this. The greatest sculptor in the world working in marble cannot add a thing. If it's not there, it's not there. No man makes it, and no man is truly creative, but by subtraction from the whole, he reveals it. That's the nearest that man can come to creation, and that's why the great are afraid. Only they can see all of it, and they're afraid that in their process of subtraction, they will not reveal the all of it, and what is hidden will remain hidden forever. They are even more afraid that in the process, they will cut too far and destroy that much of it forever. It is that way in the making of all things. Do you think about it that way? And I'm asking the question because when I write, I always think I have this entire language to work with, and I just have to chip away until what's left says what I want it to. Do you think about that way when you're editing?
I don't think about it that way. I love your writing, and to know that that's how you do it is amazing to me.
Thank you.
You're just so talented, and it's riveting.
I appreciate that. Please let me say that one of the marks, in my estimation, of a good editor is that a good editor will never mess with the author's voice.
Absolutely.
And you don't.
Thank you. I thank you. It is imperative the voice is maintained. What I have found as an editor, and one of the tips I give in the workshop, Mark, is just brain dump. Writing is thinking on paper. And then that's your draft. And when you go back and you go, oh, this doesn't work, have a section at the bottom of your document that says cuts, and just copy and paste it down there. Just save it, because you might want it later. Now that's when I'm coaching with the live one-on-ones and helping them to ascertain, what should stay or not. When I have someone bring me their work, I have found often it is the cuts, the deletions that sanctify. So sanctify is my word. A much clearer path. I put out a meme recently with Kevin Hart or something, and he's like, "But did you have to tell us what was on the sandwich? Is that part of the story?" Like, it's too much sometimes. People are trying to be a writer, and it's like, just don't. And so the editing, honestly, as I've content strategy is number one for me, based on their big picture. If their big picture is to start a business as a speaker, for instance, like Kat Polsinelli, who was in our group, she has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
But so the content depends on their big picture and what stays and what goes. And
I love that.
It has to. It has to work for their dream. It isn't just, let me tell a story, who's going to care. I want people to care about what you came to say, and find a way to zhuzh it up. That's another part of editing, is that, somebody called me a master wordsmith. I'm going to go with it. Word nerds. And, right. I think you are, though. So I don't look at what I do as anything. So there's always somebody better than us.
Right. And I think one of the things that we share is that whatever it is that we do, we don't want to overthink it too much, because we might mess it up. So we're getting to that point in the program where I start to be afraid that we're going to run out of time. So I want to just have you cover a couple things with us. You were good enough to remind me before we went live today that you and I had a conversation with another gentleman named Peter Merrick, who will be on the show 2 weeks from today, in which you told us that you knew you were going to win the lotto. So now you have to tell us, how in the world did you know that? That was
a quote unquote 11th hour miracle, sort of. I had $4.26 in the bank, and I really needed something to come through. My mother, before she passed away, she helped my brother, psychic that she is, she told him to buy X amount of church raffle tickets, and he won like $50,000.
Oh,
I know. And so I was in a dire situation, and I was throwing my fist up in the air, yelling at her. I said, you owe me. You helped Dane. You have to help me. And so I don't know if that made any difference at all. But what I did after that was not wishful thinking. As I went and I studied, and I learned that depending on the quantity of numbers that are available on any particular game, you play it differently. And why some of them that appear to be simpler with, it's only 31 numbers, are actually harder in some ways. So I did a lot of research into, okay, this is the big picture on what goes with numbers. And then I started to, because I was good at picking horses when I was at races, I could just, I can see all the numbers and it'll pop out. So I called on that, and I had a dry erase board, and I wrote down numbers, and I kept looking at it, and I said, does anything need to be fixed? Do I need to change anything? What needs to be changed? Constantly asking. And then I also did a mantra that Brian Scott does. This 8 hours, large sums of money are coming to me that I get to keep, and it was over and over again, repetition. So you have to put in the work on these things. It's not just, oh, it just happened. And then I came down to a set of numbers, and I said, that's it. Those are the ones. And every time I went to the store, I expected to win. I don't know where that came from. It could be just ridiculous. I could still be wishing for it to this day, but I expected it. And then I got this gut feeling, Mark, it's going to happen on Thursday. And I really needed it to. And I thought, if this doesn't work on Thursday, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because all the effort I put into, all the belief in it. I remember coming home one time from buying a ticket, and it felt like I passed through this plasma wall. It felt like I went through a wall, and I was on the other side of it. Oh, and I was doing visualizations of, you can picture being showered by bills, right? Not Citibank bills, $100 bills,
Yeah.
$100, right? So dollar bills, yeah, with zeros on them. And if you picture that and you can feel a shower of money, it helps. It really does, because they say you have to become the thing you've never had before. Well, how the hell do you do that? So I pictured being showered by money, and I went on that day and I handed it over, and nothing happened. Except that they said, hang on. And I want you guys to know this. When you hear the machine go, woohoo, that person didn't win a lot. When somebody wins big, it gets very quiet. And the machine tells them to call over a manager and make the person sign the back of the ticket right away. And I've since learned, don't do that, because if you win big money and you have to go to the major city to go pick it up, you have a lawyer go, because you have a trust set up. That way your name and face is never associated with all the money. That's what you want. Well, it got real quiet. I didn't know any of this stuff back then. And they said, well, it looks like you've won. How much? Well, we don't know. You have to go look online. And I looked online, and I was the one person who won. If I had listened to a last minute change the variable, that last quick pick ball, don't ever do quick pick. Always do your same numbers. If I'd listened, I would have won millions, but I didn't. I won 6,000. And at that time it was like millions to me. Mm-hmm. And I was able to pick it up locally. They took out $1,500 immediately. And so I had my winnings.
I just read about this over the weekend. I think you may have something, I think it's called synesthesia. And it's some psychological thing in which different people perceive different kinds of things. They could be numbers, they could be other stimuli in different ways. And believe it or not, I came across it because I was looking for the obituary of a young guitar player who recently died at age 43. His name is Gino Matteo, and this guy was brilliant. And what I read about him suggested that he might have synesthesia, which, translated music to his hands or whatever in particular ways that the rest of us don't have.
Oh. Well, at least there's a label for it. I don't know. The question would, if I heard this story from somebody else, my question would be, why haven't you done it again? And right. And so this is where we come into, was it destiny the whole time? Was that on the blueprint? Is that why I felt called to do it? Is that how I knew the date was coming? Is that what explains the things we're drawn to do? Because it's all already done. Origins of desire, it's all decided. It pulls us towards the thing that we came to do anyway. We're just slogging through it. We're not even driving the car. We're passengers.
And I also think that if you told this story, or if somebody in Las Vegas heard you tell this story, you'd probably get arrested.
Why?
Because they'd say you're playing the numbers. Actually, I think people have written books about that. Because I want people to have a better appreciation for investing in themselves. I would like you to share how people can find you to make use of your services, and also when we share the recording of this program, I'm going to put the links to your works that exist on Amazon in that share, so that people can see what you've done so far. I was wondering how many pages on Amazon I was going to have to go through to see how many anthologies you've published. But other folks should see that too. So please tell folks how we can find you.
Please come and see what I offer. I have a writer's circle that you can come once or twice a week or a month. It doesn't matter. It's live access collaboration group. I love doing it because everybody's got different goals. And so the writer's circle is really fun. And you can go over to Book Lonnie, like BOOK, and my name, LONNEE, as they would say in Australia, mate. And you can find also the 11th Hour Miracles page. And that, I mean, listen, the reason that I'm really excited, I get excited. The reason that this matters so much is because, Mark, there are people with, I'll call it an everyday career. Or there's a late bloomer who had a health crisis and now they're a health coach, but their competition is Mr. XYZ who's been a health coach for 30 years. And how do they stand out? How do they get on podcasts? How do they promote themselves? How do they have credibility? Well, get in this book, because every one of us has had a miracle. We all have. Get in this book and then use it, because it will become a bestseller. It's what we do. And then lean on this to get yourself onto podcasts that are outside your accounting career, your engineering career. Go on transformational shows. Go on faith-based shows. Those are great. And if somebody realizes you're a faith-based accountant, you're a faith-based lawyer, you had a miracle story, me too, I'd like you, sir. It is going to be an instant know, like, and trust, KLT factor. And that's right. That's why I'm so excited about this. This book gives people a chance to be warm and fuzzy that don't normally get a chance to do it when they're on the air. And the doors are closed to them because the podcasters are done with lawyers. They're done with accountants. They're done with the breast cancer survival story. Sorry, but I've heard hosts say that. I can't do another one. I got to have something different. They'll say, unless you have something, this changes everything. You probably don't. But if you want to get your story out there, maybe use this story, the miracle story, to open the door. And then they get to hear about you in a different way. That's why this is special. It's a marketing tool.
And I want to say that sometimes just discovering that we can write, discovering that we're writers is a miracle. And on that subject, and on the subject of late bloomers, I'm going to offer this, which may seem shameless. This is my graphic novel, which is just published this year.
Congratulations.
I've been reading comic books since I was 10 years old. I'm 71, and I published this. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and everybody can do it working with you. So,
thank you, Mark.
I am on your side. I thank you. I thank you for being here. If you come back again, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to have you work on your enthusiasm, and I'm going to try my best to get you out of your shell. So, you have been forewarned. So, for everyone who was good enough to join us today, to come hear Lonnie laugh like that, thank you for that. And to you, Lonnie, thank you so much for being here. And as I suggested earlier, I will see you live again 2 weeks from today. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into The Anxious Voyage, the program dedicated to sharing stories, helping people, and celebrating life. You can see and listen to The Anxious Voyage on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Monday at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with live broadcast every first and third Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you have a story to tell, or if you know someone who does, please email the host, Mark O'Brien, at mark@o'briencg.com. In the meantime, please remember, the only bad stories are the ones we don't share.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.